Greetings! On February 3rd, according to the Eastern calendar, the year 2025 begins. The year of the wood snake, perhaps the most dangerous year of the 21st. The snake is not a peaceful symbol. It is always ready to strike and bite. That is a sign that this year will not be easy. We see that the Gregorian calendar of 1941 completely coincides with 2025, and this coincidence, both years are years of the snake. In mythology, snake plays a special role. Interestingly, the conference hall of the Pope is designed in the shape of a snake's head. My forecast is made so that you see the image of the future for yourself. You do not have to take my word for it. And in the end, I will give my conclusions. Point 1 of the first events of 2025 is the inauguration of the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Surprisingly, he won the presidential race easily. This may indicate that many interesting events await us related to his persona. I discovered an interesting fact that in July 1990, the magazine Heddle published a series of comics depicting Donald Trump with a snake. President Trump builds a wall. An entirely illogical drawing. I can admit that one can draw Trump with a long tongue, but with a snake tongue. Therefore, I have no doubt that this snake tongue is a hint at the year of the snake at 2025, at the importance of this year, and at the serious role Donald Trump will play this year. A role that was planned long before the 90s. Trump states that he wants to make America great again. Another interesting statement he'd recently is his desire to annex Canada, Greenland, Mexico, Panama, and Latin American countries. His statement hints that during Trump's rule, borders will change and the process of eliminating national states will be set in motion. According to the Club of Rome's plan, instead of national states, the world will be divided into 10 global zones. Trump's statement about making the U.S. great again makes one wonder, what made the U.S. a great power? The answer is on the surface. World War I and World War II. World War I weakened the European aristocracy, practically taking away their power, which shifted to bankers controlled by the U.S. This reminds us of the 30-year religious war between Protestants and Catholics, which ended in 1648 with the Peace of Westphalia. The U.S. is predominantly a Protestant country. World War II destroyed Europe. Subsequently, the U.S. implemented the Marshall Plan, and this looked like, we will, but you will all owe us. And everyone became debtors of the dollar. Donald Trump changed the financial system. To lay the foundation for digital currencies. This will be a continuation of the dollar system. For some time, they will exist in parallel. Then the old system will collapse and everyone will be transferred to the new one. Now, what is the most likely scenario for the future? Since everything in the world is cyclical, I suggest we look at the future through the lens of past years. In my school, a unique forecasting system has been created. It is based on 12-year and 60-year. This is my proprietary method. It is simple and accurate, and it reveals the nature of each year's pillar based on the events that occurred that year. Analyzing the last 160 years of history, I have identified patterns and repetitions of events, and now I will tell you about them. After this, it will become clear to you what events to expect in 2025 and beyond. The rat year begins the 12-year and 60-year cycles. That is, the rat is the beginning of cycles. The rat's hours are midnight from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. This means that the rat is a nocturnal animal, and I have noticed that it is in rat years that global scenarios are secretly initiated, like under the cover, in ways beneficial to the ruling elite. Almost all rat years are characterized by this, and the young metal rat year has always been a turning point in world history. These were 1960 to 2020, also one of the most important years is the Yang water rat year. These were 1912 and 1972, 2032 in the future. In the 12-year periods that began with the Yutter rat year, the world always underwent radical financial transformations. For example, 1913, the creation of the Federal Reserve System in the UDS, or 1972 to 1978, the creation of the petrodollar, the abolition of the gold standard, and the formation of what is oil dollar system. I assume that from 2032, the new financial model of digital money will firmly enter society and begin reshaping it. Until 2032, the foundation for this will be laid. What kinds of financial reforms exist and what do they bring to society? This is explained in detail in the fourth course of my school. All financial reforms follow a clear pattern. By analyzing them, we can always say, why was it created? Or what does it bring? How stable will it be? So the rat year carries a secret, a distraction maneuver, hidden actions, etc. After the rat year, we observe that in tiger years, these hidden agendas begin to manifest in society. They surface, becoming visible and start to act openly. Then, in the snake year, events occur that people think about and expect, but hope will not happen. I call this the X-factor. It is something that happens unexpectedly, changes the face of the social system. Or it may be the first pulse that triggers a chain of transformations over the next few years. These events are usually highly significant in terms of radically reshaping society. This is exactly what snake years typically bring. Wars occur constantly around the world, but for my analysis, I have selected only the most significant ones, those that had far-reaching consequences, and I discovered that most of them began in tiger and snake years, less frequently in rabbit years. Let's look at what happened in past tiger and snake years. January 30th, 1902 Tiger Year. According to New Style, the Anglo-Japanese alliance was signed. This agreement gave Japan the confidence to start the Russo-Japanese War of 1904-1905, or 1905 Snake Year. The First Russian Revolution. Bloody Sunday occurred on January 22nd. New Style. Right before the Snake Year, many of the key revolutionary uprisings happened in the Snake Year, including armed rebellions in Moscow. This event marked a turning point in the history of the Russian Empire. Also, not forget the Russo-Japanese War continuing that year, or 1914 Tiger Year, the start of World War I, or 1917 Snake Year, the February and October revolutions in Russia, or 1926 to 1927 Tiger and Rabbit years. Stalin eliminated his political opponents and secured absolute power. The 1927 military alert crisis escalated tension between the USSR and the British Empire, with a real threat of a large-scale war with a whole of European nations starting with Poland. 1929 Snake Year. The beginning of the unrivaled industrialization in the Soviet Union. The Great American Depression began. Between 7 to 10 million people died from starvation during this period. 1938 Tiger Year. The Sudetenland crisis, leading to its annexation by Nazi Germany. This was, in fact, the true beginning of World War II. The 1939 Rabbit Year, the official outbreak of World War II. The 1927 military alert crisis escalated tensions between the USSR and the British Empire. with the real threat of a large-scale war with a whole bloc of European nations starting with Poland. A 1929 snake year. Oh, the beginning of the unrivaled industrialization in the Soviet Union. Oh, the Great American Depression began. Oh, between 7 to 10 million people died from starvation during this period. A 1938 Tiger Year. Oh, the Sudetenland crisis, leading to its annexation by Nazi Germany. Oh, this was, in fact, the true beginning of World War II. A 1939 Rabbit Year, the official outbreak of World War II. A 1941 Snake Year, the start of the Great Patriotic War, World War II in the USSR. A 1950 Tiger Year, the Korean War began. A 1953 Snake Year, the death of Joseph Stalin. A 1962 Tiger Year, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Oh, the world stood on the brink of nuclear war. A 1965 Snake Year. Oh, the economic reform in the Soviet Union, Kosygин's reform. Oh, French President Charles de Gaulle demanded the U.S. return France's gold in exchange for paper dollars. Oh, this démarche by de Gaulle highly resonated globally, eventually leading to the end of the gold standard and the formation of the petrodollar system. Oh, in 1966, France withdrew from NATO. A 1974 Tiger Year. Oh, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia signed a crucial agreement that cemented the petrodollar system. Oh, however, the process of creating the petrodollar began earlier. In the pig and rat years, 1971 to 1972, a 1977 snake year. Oh, the 1976 to 1978 Jamaican IMF conference finalized the new global monetary system. Oh, the new Soviet constitution was adopted. A 1986 Tiger Year, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. A 1989 Snake Year. Oh, the Malta summit, where Gorbachev effectively surrendered the USSR. Oh, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Oh, the Tiananmen Square uprising in China. Oh, a series of velvet revolutions in Eastern Europe. The signs of USSR falling apart are evident judging by the ongoing events. 1986 Chernobyl disaster, Artemis tragedy in 1988, and later the events in 1989. And the preparation for these things started way back in 1960, the year of yen metal on the snake. A 1998 Tiger Year. 1990s are overall notable for a bunch of military conflicts, with some vivid ones started in 1988 like the Kosovo War. The Desert Fox military operation against Iraq by the US and the UK. 1998 to 2003, the Second Congolese War, which caused 4 to 5.4 million deaths, the most deadly conflict since World War II. Here we can also mention the Second Chechen War, officially sparked in 1999, the Rabbit Year. The 1998 Russian financial crisis and default, a 2001 Snake Year. 9/11 attacks taking down the Twin Towers in NYC. The start of the War on Terror, and the U.S. invasions of the Middle East, Middle Asia, and Africa. And in this year and the following ones we see the manifested events when all the actions and motives are clear and on the table. The preparation for that was started in the Tiger Year, while the covert operations began in 1996, the year of the rat. And these all were followed by the invasion into Iraq and destruction of Saddam Hussein's regime in 2003. A 2010 Tiger Year. The Libyan War and the murder of Muammar Gaddafi as a prologue to continuing a war in the Middle East, namely Syria in 2011 Year of the Rabbit. Also the Korean crisis involving the sinking of the South Korean corvette Cheonan in 2010, the exact 60 years after the Korean War. There were massive U.S.-South Korean military exercises at that time, and Kim Jong-un denied all the allegations. A 2013 snake year. The Maidan Revolution in Ukraine, leading to the war in Donbass, 2014. In 2013 another Korean crisis. Exactly 60 years after Stalin's death, North Korea performed a nuclear test. These are the signs of military confrontation that happen in the years of Tiger, 2010, and Snake, 2013. 2022 Tiger Year. In the Tiger Month and Tiger Hour, we see the start of Russia's special military operation. Now the Snake Year is coming once again. Looking at the historical patterns above, in 2025, three main event vectors intersect. 1. A revolutionary situation similar to 1905 would end Snake Year. 2. The beginning of major financial and economic changes, like 1965, would end Snake Year. Charles de Gaulle's actions ultimately reshaped the dollar system. 3. Intensification of military conflicts. We have observed every Snake Year in the 21st century following the upward trend seen in 2001 and 2013. This suggests that in 2025 would end Snake Year. This trend will continue. What will happen in 2025 and beyond? For a comparative analysis, let's examine World War I, World War II, and our present time. As I mentioned earlier, everything begins in the rat year. However, preparations for major events always start even earlier. A 1912 rat year, the sinking of the Titanic. This eliminated opponents of the Federal Reserve's creation. A 1913 ox year, the Federal Reserve System, FRS, was established. At that time, the world did not yet realize that this event would lead to two world wars. The dollar needed war to strengthen its position. A 1936 rat year, German troops occupied the Rhineland, violating the Treaty of Versailles. In that year, people still did not understand the consequences of this action. 2020 rat year, the pandemic. This was just the beginning of hidden processes that are now unfolding. In 2020, most people did not realize what this would lead to. A 1914 Tiger Year, start of World War I. 1938 Tiger Year, annexation of the Sudetenland. German troops crossed the Czech border. A 1939 Rabbit Year, official beginning of World War II. A 2022 Tiger Year, start of the Special Military Operation, SMO. Thus, we see that Tiger Years mark the beginning of the visible part of hidden processes, which were set in motion in rat years. A 1917 Snake Year, the February and October revolutions in Russia. This led to the Russian Civil War. A 1941 Snake Year, start of the Great Patriotic War, Eastern Front of World War II. A 2025 Snake Year, what will happen? Based on the patterns above, you can already imagine what 2025 will be like. The X factor in Snake Years and Snake Years. Events occur that reshape society and the world order. I call this this the X factor, a phenomenon that reveals hidden agendas and makes it clear to society what began in the rat year and surfaced in the tiger year. Now, think about what might happen in the 12-year period of young water on the rat, 2032 to 2043. What awaits us in 2025? I believe 2025 will be eventful, and Russia's role could become defining, just as it was in the last century. Why has Donald Trump returned? His easy victory suggests that the key global power centers have reached an agreement. They have not only unified their actions, but also aligned their views on the financial system. And now they are ready for large-scale transformations. Trump will execute a plan that was originally intended for Kamala Harris, but she lacked the public's trust to carry it out. Donald Trump, however, currently has a high level of trust. What is planned to be implemented through Trump will happen regardless of whether he remains president or not. Trump's main goal is destroying Iran, but this will not come easy. Then comes building Greater Israel, but his primary target is introducing controlled digital currencies and a total surveillance system the way the people accept these willingly. Also, he aims at purging ineffective elements within the U.S. government, laying the foundation for a new governance structure, possibly even a supranational system. During his term, there will be a boom in cryptocurrency projects. I believe that in 2025, the economic aspect will prevail over the military conflicts. In the first half of the year until autumn, we may see a rise in the stock and cryptocurrency markets. It will appear as if the economy is booming. The real economy and physical assets will be pulled into crypto-related ventures. Many people will invest without proper knowledge. However, by the end of 2025 or in 2026, the financial market will become unstable. A sharp crisis will begin. It will transition into a deep global depression. As a result, most people will lose their money and fall into poverty. This process will unfold over several years, leading to mass impoverishment worldwide. A banking crisis could emerge suddenly, causing severe economic disruptions in multiple countries. The trigger event for this will likely occur in 2025. If Iran comes under attack, the next targets will be the Persian Gulf royal dynasties. Even the Yi might not escape this fate. Afterward, focus will shift to Central Asia. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. The Caucasus region may also be affected. Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. The ultimate goal of these conflicts is to weaken Russia. Other major challenges will include natural catastrophes, technological disasters, pandemics, food shortages. These factors will exacerbate the global situation. As Donald Trump returns, the Ukraine conflict may de-escalate. Even so, however, by the end of 2025 or in 2026, the conflict could reignite, possibly involving NATO. This would increase the threat of nuclear confrontation. Ultimately, Europe will be significantly weakened. Eastern Europe may come under Russia's influence. One of Britain's objectives is to weaken Germany through the Ukraine conflict. This has been a long-standing strategy since the 17th century 30-year religious war, though Britain's input was extremely controversial. Also, there is a risk of revolutionary situations all over the world, with Russia not being an exception, but this is not a good option at all, minding the future turmoils which it is to go through and overcome. The ruble may strengthen slightly due to the Middle East conflicts. However, it will ultimately continue to decline. A currency redenomination in 2025 seems unlikely, but after 2026, it becomes very possible. Between 2028 and 2030, a war could involve China, India, and Pakistan. I believe the main trigger for this will be Kashmir. Active military operations could last for about 5 years, with a real possibility of nuclear weapon usage. At first glance, these wars may seem like they are fought for territories, resources, or strategic routes. However, their true purpose is much deeper. The current global struggle is not just about land or economics. It is a battle of world projects, each representing a different ideology, vision of governance, and future world order. Here are the key global projects currently competing for dominance. 1. The American project, transhumanism, complete control over the population through digital technology and AI. 2. The Chinese project, a shared destiny for humanity, centralized state control over every aspect of life. 3. The Islamic project, an ideological expansion of the Muslim world. 4. The Jewish project, Greater Israel and global financial dominance. 5. The Vatican European project, Jesuits, black nobility, inclusive capitalism, and the papal vision of world governance. 6. The Russian project, Moscow as the Third Rome, a self-sufficient civilization with spiritual and moral foundations. These world projects are currently fighting for dominance. However, I do not believe that any single project will emerge as the absolute leader. Most likely, a compromise or hybrid system will be established. I believe we are entering a period of radical global transformation in the nearest future. My above-presented event forecast aligns with political analysts, geopolitical experts, and even the plans of global elites. One of their primary long-term goals is China. If Russia survives and maintains its sovereignty, then China will also endure. Can we predict the future with Bazi? How accurate is my forecast from a Bazi perspective? Will this scenario unfold exactly as described, or only partially? The forecasting system I have developed can be a valuable tool for political scientists, geopolitical strategists, economists, anyone making financial and political predictions. My prognostic system allows us to see historical cycles and determine the probability of upcoming global events. It provides a clear understanding of social transformations and reveals major historical trends and a number of events that weren't mentioned here. When one understands the character of the year, he can form a truly detailed image of what is to come about. I should repeat that based on my Bazi forecasting system, 3 main event vectors converge in 2025. 1. A revolutionary situation. 2. An economic and financial crisis leading to the restructuring of the global monetary system. This, in my opinion, is the highest priority for global elites at this time. 3. Military conflicts. This will include multiple regional wars. At least 1 or 2 2 major military operations in the Middle East and Europe. These 3 factors are clearly indicated by bazi and are part of the forecasting system I teach at my school. The rest of my analysis comes from a deeper understanding of the characters and images of the years and supportive analytics of historical cycles and global power dynamics. Specific details of events may vary slightly, but the core trends will remain the same. Mind that not all of the depicted will necessarily happen this year. In 2025, a major event or series of events will occur. This will openly launch the transformation process. The reasons behind global events will become obvious to the general public. The snake year always strips away illusions and masks. Hidden motives will be exposed. The true objectives of world leaders will become transparent. However, the most significant events will unfold between 2025 and 2029 to 2030. According to my forecasting system, the world will completely transform by 2043. This conclusion is based on 1. The nature of current historical cycles. 2. The upcoming young metal rat cycle. 3. The following young water rat cycle. As of now, we are still in 2024, the year of the dragon, before February 3, 2025. My system reveals that in the dragon years before major events, world political leaders try to stabilize the situation, still hoping to maintain control. They attempt to preserve the status quo. However, this almost never works. The snake year always disrupts stability and accelerates change. The world has already missed its opportunity for peaceful resolution. Now conflicts might only escalate. Past historical cycles indicate that we are entering a prolonged period of war, lasting about 20 years. Something unexpected will happen in 2025. It is what I call the X factor, something that many anticipated but hoped would not occur. This event or series of events will trigger a global chain reaction spoken of earlier. Everything I described above will begin unfolding until 2030. After 2032, we will enter a new phase. The world is about to change drastically. The question remains, will everything happen exactly 100%? To answer this, we must look at previous snake years, 1917 and 1941. The X factor then disrupted the plans, always altering their course of implementation. The events will certainly happen, but not all of them will lead to the results thought up by the global planners. Serious hardships await our country, but in the end it will firmly stand its ground and become stronger and larger in its borders despite any logics. Just remember 1917 and 1941. In 1917, the Russian Revolution did not go as planned. In 1941, the German invasion of the USSR did not go as expected. 2025. What surprises will it bring? How can ordinary people prepare for the upcoming challenges, not to be buried under the remains of the old system? Here are some practical recommendations for ensuring your better future. 1. Avoid living in potential war zones. 2. Ensure access to food, water, and energy for the next 5 years. 3. Do not travel west or northwest in 2025. 4. Reduce air travel whenever possible. 5. Be aware that coastal cities and seaports may be targeted. 6. Do not participate in protests or actions that destabilize your country. 7. Stay united. A divided society is more vulnerable to external threats. We need a solid, strong country, and therefore we must unite and support it in this upcoming period, as we have always done before. As promised, my forecast is structured in a way that allows you to see the future yourself. The past events and historical cycles are the foundation of my analysis. Forecasting the future should never be done in isolation from 12-year and 60-year cycles. A Bazi analysis must always consider the patterns of previous years. This is precisely what I have demonstrated in this forecast. Through the Chinese calendar and the forecasting system I developed, years and cycles take on a distinct character. They reveal specific behavioral patterns, and they allow us to perceive the shape of future events. Goodbye.